So welcome to number 8 in the 10-Minute Coffee Break series. I'm Jim Franklin, and I'm here with...
Me, y'all. Hey! And I am so excited about being here. Allison Moore.
And we're here to talk very briefly, but kind of in depth, about the biggest screw-ups ever. So Allison, we get to talk about the biggest screw-ups ever, but we're doing it kind of race-based, you know. What are the things that we're trying to talk about? And what I want to sort of set the tone with the discussion is that we all make mistakes, and I want to talk about recovering from the mistakes a little bit, you know, as we go through. So here are my thoughts. There's a difference between mistakes and crimes. There's a military thing for you.
Okay. Well,
I had a boss one time that said, it's a mistake if you don't know you're doing it and you're just not smart enough to figure out you should have done it a different way. It's a crime if you know it's wrong and you do it anyway. So mistakes versus crimes, biggest screw-ups I ever made. I want to focus on the mistake part of that.
I'm about to break a bunch of laws and say it was a mistake. Jim said it because I ain't know.
Okay. But the part of it that comes home to me is, and I think this is true in diversity or inclusion or race relations, whatever you want to call it, that you have to know whether it's intentional or it's ignorance.
Yeah.
Both of those things, when you're an old white man, weigh into mistakes that I make. And ignorance is not understanding hair and how many mistakes I make when I talk to somebody trying to be nice, don't get it. Okay.
Did we share that in our coffee break?
I don't know.
Okay, well, we ain't got to rehash it.
We don't have to.
Take my word for it, y'all. Brother Jim is out here trying.
But tell me about some of the mistakes that you see, and you know, part of it is to kind of talk back to what we've been talking about. This is our kind of wrap-up session.
Yeah.
So bring it home to me about mistakes.
Yeah, for me, what I have had to make, especially since we've been doing this diversity and inclusion work, I've had to make the decision to reposture my heart because so many people, right, say, I didn't know, it was a mistake. And I'm just like, how could you not know? Like, why, when you look at this situation, if you don't think it's okay for your family, how could you not know that it's not okay for mine? But what I had to take a step back and think about is really unpack. We have all been raised, all of us, in a very racist world, system, and it's just gonna take time to unravel and unlearn. And so, yeah, Allison, actually, they really can have made a mistake. It really might not, you know, it really was invisible. And so for me, and this particular part of it is more on the receiving end and how I put my shoulders up, right? Because the moment I get offended, I'm like, I don't trust, forget it, I'm not interested. But there is space where people really don't know. Yes, it could be very hurtful. And so like I shared with you, you know, growing up in Virginia, we took field trips at the Williamsburg plantation as kids every year. That was the, hey, this is a nice place. This is a resort. Well, at this particular plantation, the workers are dressed like slaves, right? And as a child, and that's where you're going, that's society telling you, we think that this is fine. This is luxurious. This is if you work well.
This is entertainment.
This is entertainment. And if you do well in school, you too can come to a plantation. You know, but me as a black child, my white friends, they experience that too, right? And so if I can say, well, dang, this stuff was just pushed down my throat and I didn't know the difference, then I just have to be understanding that that could be happening to my partners to the left and the right as well. So for me, it's more so really being patient with the mistake and then also having the confidence to say, Jim, that person has cornrows. So yes, today it's gonna be kind of flat to their head. Tomorrow, it might be big. The next day, it could be down his back. So what I need you to do is just say, that's nice. You just say that's nice. You don't have to say, oh, your squiggles in your hair is different today, you know? Not that you did that, but I had patience
That's pretty
there.
close.
Well, yeah. But Jim, you were so sweet. You were so cute because it really did look nice, and you ain't know. So we're in this together.
Well, here's another thing that I want to unpack what you said about the Williamsburg plantation, that whole kind of scenario. You said something right before that struck me, and that is we all grew up in a racist world. And some more than others, some more overt than others. But we all grew up in a country where race is there and inequity is there. One of my favorite sayings that you have is there's no equality. There's no equality. I took that to heart and I said, there's only equality if there's equity and there's social justice. So you pack all these things together. Well, I don't believe that race is ever going to go away, and I don't believe that we're ever going to be free of racists. I also don't believe that we're bad people, but we got to try harder. So trying harder about these big mistakes is part of laughing at yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You and I are good at that. I think that's why we liked each other in the beginning and we kind of, bonded, was that we could laugh at the crazy.
Right.
And the crazy that I grew up with was hard to laugh at, but once you could, you kind of looked at those racist people in a way that said, they don't threaten me anymore.
Right.
And so, back to mistakes versus crimes. You said you were going to unpack the way you react to things. I would say that I need to reach out to people and say, help me identify. Don't let me slide. Do not let me bring, my wife says that there's still a lot of Mississippi in me. Unintentional, I want to believe.
Whew. Well, I'm glad that we got that out, so I know. Okay.
But my friends, people like you, who say, oh, that's all right, he's just an old guy, No, you can't do that. You've got to say, here's what the reality behind that is.
Yeah.
That is this kind of microaggression, or you are buying into this thing that's unfair, unequal, and you don't even know it, so now you do. So.
Yeah, I think that happens from these types of relationships, right? Because once we grow in this relationship, like once I get past, oh, Jim is my white business partner, and I'm like, he's a whole granddad, then I'm thinking of him through that lens. And I think that the same thing happens, on your end as well, because you see me as,
How you see me as? A famous comedian.
I do. I see you, but I see you as an incredibly strong, opinionated with reason person. So I listen to you. And more than listen, I learn. And that's the key element with a good relationship in the workplace, where you can start seeing diversity as a virtue.
Can I be honest though?
Yeah, sure.
We wouldn't have had this conversation if I was working. But it took me to be out of the workplace to feel confident, and it took a lot of your actions for me to feel like I could trust you. And I know once I started talking, it came across like, dang, she's real opinionated. But I never touched on the race, how it made me feel. I didn't say microaggressions, not because I couldn't.
That's kind of what we're having this conversation to overcome, is to say, you can do that in the workplace, and we need to, we're sort of at that wrap-up place now.
Yeah.
But I think that what you and I are discussing right now may be the biggest important thing that we can do for corporate America, and that is, our call to action ought to be, find somebody that can tell you when you're wrong. And so that goes both ways, whether you're black or you're white. If you are, as a black woman, not standing up for yourself, I've got to be somebody that says, whoa, don't let them get away with that. Don't go there. Do be opinionated, because you have reasons to be that way. And you've got to be able to say to me,
I want my job.
There you go.
What you going to do to help me keep my job? And that's when we continue to grow.
Yeah.
But I appreciate this. I mean, I think that this is a great place to have this conversation, because I know that these conversations at least let somebody say, hey, do you feel that way? And it breaks the ice.
Yeah.
And so that's a part of what, I'm hoping our coworker friends are doing, using us, using our friendship, using our behind the scenes hurdles that we've jumped over to get to this point to then say, what'd you think about episode 3?
Yeah. So we're there.
So we're there. So if somebody messed up, how do they? Because I don't think you go and say, tell me what I did wrong when I said the N-word.
No. And those are the kind of people that's easy to figure that out. But I think the best way is to form those teams we've been talking about. Rely on your allyship.
Oh, that's our goal.
Rely on your allyship.
Fight for equity, diversity.
And at the end of the day, then you'll be able to talk about this stuff like we did.
Yeah.
Have a conversation.
I mean, it's worth it. I've learned and grown so much through this. So I'm really glad that, we're here. I feel like we need to sing a song.
No.
I don't have, okay. Toodles is enough. Toodles is enough of our diversity.
Okay, it's your turn with Toodles.
Okay, ready?
I'm ready.
Toodles! I'm a creep.